This is Larry Hodges, and this is an excerpt from Pinning the Egg. It starts near the end of the first page. A sensor alarm has just beeped, and this is where I'll start the excerpt. Flaming out of the sky was a giant egg, a Mert egg. Oh God, believe me, you do not want one of these on your world. Once hatched, out comes a Mert with flaming hair and laser eyes that rip everything in its path like a tornado in a black hole. It can take out half a continent in one pleasant afternoon. I know, I was trained to fight them. It was time to go to work. Back off or get pinked, came a high-pitched voice in galactic standard from within the egg, giving a pink warning flash. Great. A girl, Mert. They were the worst. I shuddered, remembering why I've heard about this most evil of beings. Okay, I started off by thinking, what if there's an alien on Earth whose only purpose was to defend us against evil aliens? And so I started thinking about this. Maybe he has to blend in with us. So I thought, okay, we'll make him a shapeshifter, and he pretends to be human. And what's he defending us against? And I thought, well, what if there's this whole galactic war going on between two species, one good, one bad? That sounds almost stereotypical, but one side is so nasty, and the other side is so stretched thin that they can only afford one warrior per planet. So this warrior, Cag, his name is Cag, he's now living on Earth, blending in, and just waiting to see if one of these Merts show up. If they drop an egg off, if that egg hatches, that's the end of everything. So I was thinking, what would he be like? And I started thinking through the story, and I came up with this ending, which I won't go into, but the ending meant this guy had, this warrior, he had to be so single-minded about defending Earth that he'd do anything, absolutely anything. And that's how that character came about. And he's going to find himself facing a really worthy adversary. Okay, I was thinking, since I kept thinking there was going to be this horrible alien coming along, and then I got to the part where I had to actually write it about, and I remember walking around the house, just pacing back and forth, because I wanted something that was really menacing, but also a little humorous. Something, because I wanted the tone to be, a little bit humorous at the same time. And I kept thinking about this and thinking about it, and then this phrase leaped into my head, this one phrase, and the whole story came out of this. The phrase was, back off or get pinked. That's why in my excerpt I wanted to make sure I got to that part. Back off or get pinked. And that's where the character of the alien, the Mert egg, comes out. She lands there, and when she comes up and he walks up, she says that. And after that, the characters wrote themselves. She's a little sarcastic, but she's really powerful, and he's scared to death. He doesn't want to get pinked. And there's pink flashes and everything. So he has to battle him. And he's trained his whole life for this. And suddenly, he's finding an adversary who's a lot stronger, more powerful than he thought. And things are going to get even nastier later on when you realize what he's going to have to sacrifice to win this battle. Since you've read, you know it is, but the readers will have to read the story. Memorable characters, they always want something. It can be something very specific, they go on a quest, or might they just be they want justice. Sometimes it might not even start out that way. They may actually just react. Like this character in my story, he's at one point he's just reacting to whatever the Mert egg does, because that Mert egg is pretty ferocious. But eventually, you want a character that's going to take matters into his own hand. He's going to make things happen. He has to face adversity, and he's usually going to fail at first. If it's too easy, it's boring. So he has to really battle. Maybe things don't work out. Usually things get worse. But he can't just be reacting. He has to keep battling. Eventually, he has to overcome it in some way if there's a good ending. Or, of course, you can have a sad ending. But he has to struggle and fight all the way through on this type of thing. So that's the main tip. That you really need to have a character that really wants something and is going to do whatever it takes to get it, although facing adversity. He may even give up at one point and then have a side character convince him to continue or something. But he has to do it. The other thing, here's the thing that I think goes for every story. There's really two ways of developing a character for a story. I think you can literally divide all story writers into one of two types. those who start with a character and they write a story around it, and those who come up with a story idea and then come up with characters around it. Both ways work. Now, a lot of times they say character is king, but it's real important that you develop good characters. But some people come up with that great character, then they start thinking of a story around it. Now, I tend to go the other way. I'm more of an idea writer. I like to come up with a story and then spend a lot of time thinking what would be a great character or characters that go with the story. Usually a good character, a bad character, side characters, that type of thing. The reason I wanted my adversary in this one, the mermaid, to be slightly humorous, is I wanted to have something like that. A lot of times you'll have a hero who has a humorous sidekick or something like that. In this case, I decided just to have the two of them and let the Mert be this humorous sidekick, which works because they're going to spend a lot of time together, as you'll find out in the story, a lot of time together. There's a lot of them. As I was just thinking about Lord of the Rings. I think one of the greatest characters around is Gollum. Gollum is a side character. In those things, you have Frodo, and Bilbo in The Hobbit, but then you have Frodo in Lord of the Rings. But they have Gollum showing up. Without Gollum, you have a character who struggles, who gives up a lot, who's not really heroic, but overcomes everything. That's Frodo and Bilbo before him. And they have to go up against these terrible ones. Gollum is the spice that makes it really, really, really interesting. Take him out, I think it's just not as fun anymore. He's so fun to have him around. And there's other ones like that as well. But the idea is you need to have both the meat of it, the one who is the heart of it, and you need to have an adversary who's worthy of them, and then you need to have the spice sometimes, which could be the main characters or it could be side characters. If you just use an old example, if you ever watched the old TV show Happy Days, Ron Howard starred as Richie Cunningham. He was the heart of it, but Fonzie was the spice. And there are a lot of ones like that. Captain Kirk could have been considered the heart of Star Trek along with McCoy, but Spock was the spice. So you have a lot of ones like that. I discovered I was playing with other kids in my neighborhood and discovered USA Table Tennis and got addicted right from the start. And it's I have two careers, my science fiction writing career and table tennis. I've coached teams all over the world. I was state champion, actually national champion, what's called hardbat table tennis. So I've been very, very involved in that. I'm in the USA Table Tennis Hall of Fame and a lot of titles, both playing and coaching. And I've got over 9 books on table tennis, 8 books in science fiction fantasy. I don't know I can't remember specifically if they had there, but Kung Pao chicken, extra spicy, is what I know is what I will have ordered. Because I always go for Kung Pao chicken, extra spicy. My main experience in Taiwan with eating is I got in a lot of trouble because I'm a non-drinker, which apparently was almost unheard of there. And when I got together with all the coaches, they were all drinking, and when I wouldn't drink, several of them were very insulted because I wouldn't drink beers with them. I got Coke, and even afterwards, at least one of them was very angry with me because I wouldn't drink beer. Couldn't help it. It's tough to give them out. I don't know. Robert J. Sawyer is probably my favorite science fiction writer. He's, like me, an idea writer, and he's done some really, really good ones. If you want to read any of my novels, my best novel is Campaign 2100, Game of Scorpions, which covers the election for the president of Earth in the year 2100, where the whole world has adopted the American two-party electoral system. Horrors. It's a very dark, it's sort of a satire, but it's also a drama.